Good day, folks. Welcome. My name is Omer Ahern Jr., and this is my periodic report to the people of Grafton County, New Hampshire, about their Grafton County government. I am the Grafton County Commissioner from District 3 here in Grafton County, which serves the towns on the eastern side of the county into the southern part of the county, up as far as Campton and Dorchester and Groton, down to Alexandria, Bristol, Holderness, Ashland, and all the towns in between. And of course, Plymouth, Hebron, and Holderness. I serve with two other commissioners. The chairman of the Board of Commissioners is Commissioner Wendy Piper from the town of Enfield, and she serves in District 1, which is the towns of Hanover, Lebanon, and Enfield. And we also serve with Commissioner Linda Lauer from the town of Bath, and she serves the towns in the northern part of Grafton County and the western part of Grafton County, down to just north of Lebanon, Hanover, excuse me, just north of Hanover. And we serve the people of Grafton County by doing our statutory obligations to provide and take care of and manage the county nursing home, 132-bed facility up in North Haverhill, New Hampshire. And we are also responsible for the operation and the maintenance of the Department of Corrections, a house of correction, where we have a jail for pretrial confinement for people involved in the criminal justice system. And we have a house of correction for people who are sentenced after being found guilty in either the circuit courts or the superior courts. We also, as part of the county commission, we also keep and oversee a 750-acre woodlands up there in North Haverhill. So we have a timber harvest every once in a while in accordance with a written forestry management plan. This morning at the Plymouth Rotary Club, Wednesday morning here, the 6th of May, I think it's the 6th of May, we had the nursing home administrator, Craig Labor, come and give a 15, 20-minute presentation to the members of the Plymouth Rotary Club about the nursing home and how the nursing home was able to, and continues to get through the present COVID-19 pandemic situation. And he talked specifically about the last 13 months and how the challenges were met by our very outstanding nursing home staff, registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, licensed nursing assistants, and other staff people, and interacting and working with and keeping safe the residents in our nursing homes. And he talked about, again, the challenges of the residents in the nursing home not being able to see their families because of the lockdown, and what they did to try to make sure that the COVID-19 did not adversely affect our residents. And so he was able to report that since April of 2020, the end of April of 2020, there have been no COVID-19 cases in our nursing home up in North Haverhill. Now, the staff people are tested, and if any of our staff people, nursing or dietary staff, test positive for the COVID-19, then of course precautions are taken so that they're not working or not interacting with the residents in the nursing home. Residents in the nursing home are our number one priority up there. We also have the same issues down over at the House of Correction, where we have inmates there at that 150-bed facility, the House of Correction. And right now we have about 44 what we call residents of the Department of Corrections, formerly known as inmates, and before that known as prisoners. So we are having to make sure that they're kept as safe as possible, and making sure that our staff people corrections officers are kept as safe as possible in all of this. We also, as I have discussed in the past, we have an active farm. We have, in my opinion, one of the best dairy farms in the state of New Hampshire. I would say in the Twin State Valley of Vermont and New Hampshire. We've had some very good farm managers there and herdsmen that have taken excellent care of our dairy operation up there, and we're very proud of it. We milk mostly Holstein cows, and we have a few Guernseys and Jerseys that somehow have found their way into the herd. But it's all good, and we do sell all of our raw milk to Agrimark, and that brings in a certain amount of income to the county for purposes of trying to keep the county taxes down so that we're not requiring so much tax dollars from you, the county taxpayers. So last calendar year, for 2020, the farm manager reported that we made about $325,000 from the sale of our raw milk to Agrimark. Right now, the big thing at the county is we're keeping an eye on, and we're preparing the annual fiscal year 2022 budget for the county. And we're meeting with the department heads, maintenance department, nursing home, farm, Department of Corrections, human services, human resources, and we also meet with the elected officials, who we also prepare a budget for as well. The Sheriff's Department, the Registry of Deeds, the Treasurer. All of these folks have to submit budgets, and the commissioners take all of this information and work with it to come up with a proposed budget that is ultimately presented to the county delegation. And just as an aside, the county delegation is made up of all of the elected state representatives from all of the towns in Grafton County. And they make up the county delegation, and they're the ones that ultimately have the final say on what the county budget will be. So the three commissioners propose a budget, and it'll probably be made available to the county delegation in either late May or in early June, because the county delegation has to make a decision by the 1st of July, which is when our fiscal year starts here in Grafton County. And they may have a little bit of a they may have a bit of a period of time after that to make the decision. But there is a date certain set by the statute, and if they do not make a decision either to pass the budget or to reject the budget within a certain period of time, if they do not make that decision, then the commissioner's budget becomes the default budget. So that means that the county delegation can also add cost to the budget, but they can also reduce expenses in the budget. And then if there's more reduction in expenses, or if there's more expenses that are added to the budget, it's up to the commissioners in doing our job as the administration, as the the persons responsible for the county government, to carry out those wishes, demands, if you will, of the county delegation. So the county commissioners meet every Tuesday, starting at 9 o'clock. We meet up at the county complex up in North Haverhill. And again, the meeting starts at 9 o'clock. Those meetings are also now available via Zoom. And if you go to the Grafton County website on the internet there, and you type in county commissioners, or you go to the county commissioner title there, and you come to the commissioner meetings tab, you can find the Zoom link to go to the commissioners meeting. And we're always glad to have any people attend via Zoom, but we're even more glad to have people attend in person the commissioners meetings. They go roughly from 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday till sometimes 11, 11:30, noontime. Very seldom do we go beyond 12:30. For the last couple of months, though, the commissioners have also been meeting on Thursday mornings, also available on Zoom, where we are working specifically on the budget, meeting with the department heads, meeting with the elected officials, and receiving what these folks want to have in their budget, and then what they might have for revenue for the county. We're always happy to see Kelly Monahan, who is the Register of Deeds, because she's the only department in the county that actually makes more money through recording deeds and the transfer stamps and so on than any other department or elected official at Grafton County. So we thank Kelly Monahan and her staff at the Grafton County Registry of Deeds for their good work. But, there's so many things that we have to deal with in the budget that are, very new to county government in the last, 30 years or so. And county government has been around since the 1870s. So there's always been a nursing home, always been a house of correction and a jail, and always been a farm in Grafton County up there in North Haverhill since the 1870s. And back then things were a little bit simpler. The farm was established as part of the county operation in order to feed the inmates in the house of correction and feed the folks, the residents in the nursing home. And one thing that the commissioners have agreed to do is to implement a program called Farm Doc, FARMDOC, which basically is nothing new, but it's going back to what the county farms were doing originally when county government was first established back in the 1870s. So the plan is to have our now present farming operation in Grafton County also working to provide almost all of the food for the inmates to eat in the house of correction, and as the rules and regulations will allow, also into the nursing home. Nursing home is going to be a little more difficult, well, not difficult, but a little more challenging because of all the health and regulations and so on and so forth. So that's part of our plan. As a matter of fact, I believe this morning our new county administrator, Andrew Dorsett, used to be the administrative assistant from the town of Warren here in this district, and then recently has been the town administrator for the town of Littleton. And he started working for Grafton County. He applied for the job along with several others, and he was hired, and he started work sometime, I think, in the middle of February of this year. But this morning, the county administrator Dorsett is meeting with some of the department heads that are directly involved with the implementation of Farm Doc. Our farm manager, Grant Nelson, he's also meeting with the maintenance supervisor, Jim Oakes, and he's meeting also, very importantly, with Superintendent Tom Elliott from the House of Correction. And so they're going to be putting together the figures that they need and what components do they need to have in place. One of the big things that I think we can start off doing very quickly once we get the equipment is a dairy processing operation up there at the county where we can make our own milk, our own yogurt, our own butter, and our own cheese with the purpose of feeding that all into the Department of Corrections. So there's and again, this is with the eye toward reducing what I consider a very high line item in the Department of Corrections budget for inmate meals. It's just entitled meals in the budget, and that is just to feed the inmates. And that one line item alone in the correctional facility budget is almost $200,000 a year. I think this year it's $198,000. The previous fiscal year was $201,000. So it's averaging, $200,000 or so. And with our vegetable fields that we have up there, and we do have some very good cropland up there, farmland for growing potatoes and squash and all kinds of other vegetables. We should be able to feed almost the entire Department of Corrections off of the farm. There is a greenhouse up there that may or may not be available to the county government because it's owned by UNH Cooperative Extension. So we actually are kind of working with UNH Cooperative Extension. I'm in contact with Ken LaValle, who is one of the higher ups at UNH Cooperative Extension down at UNH down in Durham. And he is very interested in the Farm Doc program. We're also working with the other UNH Cooperative Extension folks that have their offices in Grafton County. Heather Bryant, who is a vegetable specialist, Mary Saucier-Choate, who is a food safety specialist, and of course Jim Frome, who is the county forester. So, we're getting a lot of people involved, and ultimately the purpose of this is to try to reduce county spending so that we can reduce the county tax obligation, try to save you folks out there money. So that's one of the things that came out of the commissioner meeting yesterday, is that Administrator Dorsett is meeting with a lot of the department heads to start doing what needs to be done to lay the groundwork for the implementation as soon as possible of the Farm Doc program. At yesterday's meeting, and I had to attend by Zoom myself, and we can get into that. We can get into that story. Why? My car had some mechanical problems, so that's why I couldn't get up there. So the first item on the agenda yesterday was to talk with a representative of S&S Cybersecurity about doing a cybersecurity audit of the operations at Grafton County. So we discussed that. And again, you got to remember, in this day and age, the information technology department is critical to running the entire county operation. Even the farm has a computer to keep track of the cows and how much milk they're making and what their schedule of coming online to start milking, and where they're going to plant the vegetables and how many how many seeds do they need to plant to meet the needs. And of course, the county attorney's office uses a lot of IT equipment, again, which is all being handled and repaired and monitored by our IT department. And our IT manager is Brent Ruggles, who does a fantastic job, and I appreciate the work that Brent does. And but he has to work closely with Marcy Hornick, who is the present county attorney here in Grafton County. We also have to work with the sheriff's department. They use a lot of technology. The high sheriff of Grafton County is Jeff Stiegler, and he's got a fantastic team working with him. The investigative services that are provided by the Grafton County Sheriff's Department is amazing, and we're just trying to make sure that the services that the Sheriff's Department provides, where it's possible for the county to be reimbursed for those services, that the county sheriff is looking into those opportunities. So we had quite a conversation about the need for this cybersecurity audit up there at the county. The second item on the agenda for yesterday's meeting was on this page it says the meeting was that Tuesday was the 4th of May. So if I'm off on a day or two, please forgive me. Craig Labore, the nursing home administrator who I talked about first thing at the beginning of this program, came in and gave us an update on the COVID-19 situation at the nursing home. He reported that our present census is 108 residents in the nursing home. We have 132 beds, but we have to keep, I think he said 10 or 12 beds completely separate and available as quarantine beds, should that need ever arise. And right now we have a hold on admissions due to the COVID-19 situation. And one of the quotes I took out of that meeting, because we've been administering the new COVID-19 vaccine to the nursing staff that are interested and willing to get the vaccine. There is no requirement. There is no requirement that anybody has to get the vaccine. But we started administering the vaccine just before Christmas, but we also started more people getting staff people at the nursing home getting the vaccine after Christmas. And then the residents in the nursing home are getting it if they want it, But the situation right now is because of the CDC and the Centers for Medicare and Medicare Services, both federal agencies, sometimes, and this is what Mr. Labor said this morning at the Rotary meeting, is, they'll give you some rules and guidelines on this day and then backtrack and give you a different set of rules and guidelines another day. So it's a very strictly, highly regulated operation that Mr. Labor has to work with. And again, I have nothing but the highest praise for Craig Labor and his staff, his nursing staff, and all of the folks that work for the nursing home, work with the nursing home, work with the residents. In my mind, the highest quality. We're very fortunate to have these people, and I just want to again thank the folks that work at our nursing home and the folks that support the nursing home in the maintenance department and IT and the administrative staff at the county. Again, we're primarily there for the residents in the nursing home and the House of Correction. And again, I'm just so happy, pleased with all the work, the hard work, the good work that our staff people provide for the residents in the nursing home. Another thing that Mr. Labor brought up was there are some new EPA guidelines for waste disposal, particularly unused medications that are under prescriptions, and we discussed some ways of doing that. Due to my history with county government, having grown up at the Sullivan County home in Unity, New Hampshire in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, where my mom and dad from Plymouth served as the co-administrators of the nursing home, and my dad was also the county jailer. My dad, Omer Sr., was also the Farm and Woodlands manager. So county government, I'm steeped in county government. So I know there's a lot of things that that were done at Sullivan County in the past, and I bring those up as, are these possibilities that can be also implemented or re-implemented at Grafton County? And one of those things was, is there a simpler way of disposing of these things without having to have new contracts with UPS or other folks that will take it away in big packages? And so, we're going to now be looking into the idea of using incineration to dispose of these wastes from the nursing home. That's what they call it, waste. And we do have the new biomass heating facility up there, which that biomass heating, that's all fire related. It's burning wood pellets. And I would assume that if we can get the temperature high enough, that could act as an incinerator. But we've got to look into the rules and regulations. Just because it's an idea or a proposal doesn't mean it's something that will be implemented. So I'll keep you posted about that. Just as I keep you posted about Farm Doc and how that's moving along, I'll keep you posted on the proposals for meeting our waste disposal requirements, again, from the federal government. And we want to make sure that we're doing it properly. Also have some other issues there because part of it is due to the age of the nursing home. We are having some issues with the plumbing there, and we're working on that. We also had a discussion among Mr. Labor, the commissioners, and the Human Resources Director, Karen Clough, about improving the nursing staff situation so that we have more nurses available. We have a lot of our nursing staff that is working overtime, and it really is, that creates a little extra stress on our staff. So we're talking about growing our own, for lack of a better term, growing our own staff up there by providing some training in-house for LNAs, licensed nursing assistants. And we're also working with some of the local universities, local colleges to develop licensed practical nursing programs. And we're also working a little bit here with the nursing program here at Plymouth State University. So that's one thing that we're talking about, is in trying to increase our nursing staff, because we're spending a lot of money on contract nurses. I think I mentioned that the last time I met with you folks. We have 5 different contract nursing companies that we deal with, from Michigan, Minnesota, and the Midwest, and we pay them a lot of money just to have these part-time or contract nursings that come for a few months and then they go back to their original homes. We had an update from the Grafton County Broadband Committee, and we're looking into that. Again, there may be some money coming from the federal plan. I don't know what they call it, the Federal Rescue Plan, or the American Relief Act, or the American Rescue Act. I think it's the American Relief Act. There may be some infrastructure money there that may be coming available to the county, specifically dealing with broadband. Broadband has been discussed as one of the items in this bill that the money can be used for. We also discussed last Tuesday, the commissioners did their periodic tour of the Department of Corrections. We have to do that every 6 months by statute, and we're trying to work out a way that we can more efficiently work out the report. So when we do our tour of the Department of Corrections, we're meeting with staff, corrections officers, staff. We're meeting with the inmates. We're looking to see, how clean the facility is. And I'll tell you, our Department of Corrections facility, and we go all over the place there, is spotless from my point of view. And we get to talk with the inmates. We give the inmates a chance to ask us questions and going forward. So, again, I'm running out of time. I want to thank PBTV for allowing me to give these periodic reports. My name is Omer Ahern Jr. If you would like to contact me and talk with me about county issues, I can be reached at 764-6024, 764-6024. I do not have a cell phone, and my email address is omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and God bless America, and God bless the Granite State of New Hampshire. Live free or die. Thank you, folks, and take care.